Hi, this is Anna Marie, and I am checking in. This is a video that's going to be talking to homeschooling mothers who might opt to put their kids into a hybrid school, since that's what I'm doing. And this is my second week with at least my third day with the kids gone, and it's been interesting. And I wanted to talk about some of my experiences so far, albeit it's been very brief since I've started, but I kind of just want to bring this up since other moms might also be feeling the way that I am. So firstly, having this time has been a double-edged sword because while I really appreciate having it and it's wonderful, it really does give me, I have so little time for while they're not here in the week that I have to stop and actually ask myself, what do I really want to do with my time? And when I look around my house, which you will not really see because I have everything angled so you can't see the mess, but there's a mess basically everywhere I look. And I'm feeling so overwhelmed that my first instinct is to say, I need to clean everything up. I need to organize everything I've not been able to organize, clean the counters, organize all their sock drawers, fold everything nicely, empty the dishwasher, and on and on and on and on. And then I'm trying to balance that with the reality that that's all I've been doing for the last 16 years of my life, pretty much 17, is just going till I burn out and I am angry, and an unhappy mom because I'm always feeling like I can't ever get out of this hole where I feel like my house is finally in order and I have things where they need to be because, I have a large family. We have 8, in our home, and kids always leave stuff around. Even after years of trying to tell them to be tidy and put things away, kids are kids and they just drop things where they want to drop them. And I have, tried to tell them, put this away, or, don't just look over the clutter on the floor, work to clean it up. And, sometimes they do, and they're driven and they do an awesome job, kids. You really do a great job sometimes, and I appreciate that. But there are also just more times that it's hard for them to keep up with it too. And so on these days when I'm by myself, I have to remind myself that I don't think I'm ever going to have a clean house. I don't think it's ever going to be as I ever want it to be until the day comes when my kids are gone or they're much, much older, and then I'm crying because I don't have kids around. So it's like once I actually can get what I want to get, a clean house, I won't want it because I'll want to have my kids young again, and they won't be. And I'll be in a totally different chapter of life, and it'll be painful. And I'll be crying, like even today. I mean, that's my next point is, when I have a lot of this time to myself, I really need to talk to God. And that's not easy for me. I mean, I hope I'm a devout Catholic person. I try to live according to God's commandments and live a sacramental life and a prayer life. But I mean, prayer life is sort of what does that mean sometimes? We say our vocal prayers as a family, but to say them, from my heart has been really tough because I have a lot of anger. I have a lot of things I don't understand, for why God allows things. And so, today it was a bit rough because I just I just had to let out to him everything that's been inside of me. And I know it has to happen, but it's painful. It's hard, to be with God, just me and him. Like, I'm cleaning my house here and putting, my fall stuff out and trying to organize what I can anyway, eat breakfast, and, nobody's here, so I can actually be honest and speak from my heart, but it's because I can't ever do that, with everybody here. And a lot comes out that's just really tender and really vulnerable and young and fearful and feeling abandoned. There's a lot of those feelings that I'm expressing, and it's not really coming out very much. So to go through that has been exhausting. I might look exhausted because I've been, wrestling with God a bit this morning. So, I'm trying to use this time, trying to divide it up by doing things that I need to do without it consuming all of my free time, giving some time to God, and then trying to do something for myself that I enjoy, which for me has been the YouTube channel that I've created now, and sort of pivoting away from classical conversations, but I'm not completely done with it. I want my viewers to still know I'm a homeschooling mom, and I'm happy to talk to you about things. But that's not everything, that there's a lot more that I have lived through that I think God wants me to speak to my viewers about the suffering of a homeschooling mother, about a stay-at-home mom. You don't have to be homeschooling. There's a lot of suffering in this world, and I hear of other people's, and I just had a friend of mine from my CC community who just lost a baby, unexpectedly after birth, and it was just horrible. And just there's so much that I'm feeling like God wants me to kind of share with other people, personal experiences with like insane people in this world that I've had to encounter. I don't know, just a lot. So anyway, my point is that I for anyone who has sort of the time alone, a homeschooling mom, a stay-at-home mom who gets a break or whatever, I would just say try not to consume your whole day with feeling like you have to stay on that hamster wheel of go, 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 do, laundry, do dishes, do vacuuming, bathrooms, blah, 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 blah. It's going to kill you. The stress of trying to manage your home will eventually catch up to you. It's going to affect your health. It's going to affect your relationships. And I've had to suffer a lot of health issues because I hadn't slowed down. I have this like part of me that just feels like I have to have perfection and, do everything, have an orderly home all the time. I mean, it's a good thing to want that. But I just realistically know it's even after we've cleaned up, things just tend to fall apart. Things wind up socks everywhere. So anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. I do want to also talk about my homeschooling routine, what we do. I might offend some people with the way that I do things here. And, that's fine. I'm not here to please everyone. I'm just here to tell you who I am and what we do. So, all are welcome to benefit in whatever way you can and use it or not. But I do want to, just let you all know to not burn yourselves out. Do something that you enjoy in the time that you have, even if it's just a couple hours. Maybe say, okay, I'll do 1 hour of, getting things done that need to be, running an errand or whatever. And then do something you like. Go on a walk. It's been beautiful where I live. Like, the weather here has been unusually nice. And no rain. We always have rain where I live, typically. Clouds. But it's like, I'm going to go for a walk for a little bit because I love being under the sun, and just feeling it hit my skin, and it just brings joy. It really does. So whatever, it doesn't have to be spending money. And I like to swing on my kids' swings sometimes, and just go and swing, or I'll go in my garden and just smell my basil. And you know, our garden did terribly this year, so I have not as much to enjoy, but it's like, I'll just enjoy what I have. And, you know, keep it simple. But take care of yourselves, because nobody else is going to. I have found that out. You know, if you don't advocate and do what you need to for yourself, then no one is. So anyway, I'm going to stop it there, but I will be creating more content. I know people wanted me to sing. It's been tougher to sing since I lost my Elijah, and it's just, you know, some of that joy has been taken. So I don't know, I have to feel like I have the confidence to do it. Sometimes I'm my worst critic, you know, and I'm like, oh, I don't sound good anymore. But I do love singing, so maybe I will. And somebody asked if I could talk about marriage. That is really, that might be tough, because I don't know who's listening to this. Marriage is tricky, and I don't want my husband to get angry at me if I say things. So I'm trying to be respectful. But I don't have a perfect marriage. Nobody does. But anyway, I'll save that and maybe talk about marriage in a separate video and tell you who I use and what I do to help me. So, all right. Thank you for watching. And also, because I talk for a little bit longer and I kind of talk slowly, I always listen to my, you know, YouTube or podcasts at like 1.75, and that just helps me to kind of get what I need to get, and then as short as possible, sometimes 2 point speed. Anyway, so take that advice if you wish to. All right, a blessed day to you all. Ciao.